Hello, family. I'm Robert. I'm a real alcoholic.
Hey, Robert.
I would like to thank everyone for attending Atlanta Step Up Society Big Book Study. The name of our group is Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. Let's open with a moment of silence, followed by the Serenity Prayer. Serenity Prayer.
God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things that I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Well, I just want to have a little gratitude. This week, my wife and I, we took a little mini vacation to New Orleans, and we stayed in the French Quarters. It wasn't, Mardi Gras don't start till beginning of March, but so we were a week before Mardi Gras, and trust me, it was Mardi Gras going on. But on the flip side, I kind of like enjoyed watching people have fun. You know, I didn't have to participate, but I was able to watch them have fun. And I really had the opportunity to go to Treme. That was a beautiful place. You know, it's the oldest African American neighborhood or community where we own property in the USA. Then when I read it, not only was it African American, it was Jewish people, Hispanics, they all came together, and they were all craftsmen, people who made stuff with their hands. And each house, they're still there. Each house had its own unique character. It was a beautiful place, tremendous. A lot of people didn't know nothing about that, you know, because sometimes I mention it, and I have met people from New Orleans that didn't even understand Treme. But in the center of it, they had what you call Congo Square. That's where all the slaves would meet. And on Sunday, they allow them to leave the plantations and stuff, and they all go to Congo Square, and they would get out there, and they would trade and sell and dance and have church. Whatever you want to do, that's your freedom, was in Congo Square. And I stood right in the middle of Congo Square and took a picture. That was cool. But I got a picture better than that. I saw a park bench on the side with a homeless man sleeping. And I said, there go me. And I went right next to Buddy and took me a picture. Because if I've been drinking, I can honestly tell you, Congo Square wouldn't have meant nothing. It just been another park bench for me to lock my drunken self down and go to sleep. So with that, that made me real grateful that I was able to be sober in Congo Square. All right. So what we're gonna do tonight, we're gonna jump right into the whys. Okay, and I got to tell you something. I've been like monitoring the views that be on YouTube, and for whatever reason, and I don't have to know the reasons, these YouTubes that we did up to, in the chapter on 2 whys, they're getting a lot of attention. A lot of people. I noticed that in working with others and into action, it kind of went down. The 4-step one, working with others, blew up. Then it kind of went down. And now into whys, it's blowing up. So I don't know how to interpret that yet, but I'm thinking that and the family afterward is going to be big. Because that's the trend that I'm seeing. And, you know, that's a good thing about having to be able to do an analysis on this stuff. You can see it. Right? And I thought that was real interesting. Because this wasn't one of my favorite chapters. You know, but I see it's a lot of people's favorite chapters. So maybe we are not only are we staying clean and sober, but now we're starting to rejoin, be reunited with our families. That's what the book said in the beginning. Not only were alcoholics staying clean and sober, they were being reunited with their families. So I can see that happening. All right, let's turn to page 108. We're going to start down at the bottom where it says, the problem with which you struggle. All right, Paul, if you want to read, you can read there and then go over to, you might want to sit on the side like you've been sitting. If you change, it might change your divorce or something. We're going to read that and then number 1.
Your husband may be only a heavy drinker. His drinking may be constant or it may be heavy only on certain occasions. Perhaps he spends too much money for liquor. It may be slowing him up mentally and physically, but he does not see it. Sometimes he is a source of embarrassment to you and his friends. He is positive he can handle his liquor, that it does him no harm, that drinking is necessary in his business. He would probably be insulted if he were called an alcoholic. This world is full of people like him. Some will moderate or stop altogether, and some will not. For those who keep on, a good number will become true alcoholics after a while.
All right, when you know, back in the beginning of the book, it kind of said that they hoped that we would believe in this and felt that you should be able to feel like some of this stuff. So whenever I read anything like this, like we're getting ready to read now and talk about the drinkers or the alcoholics, I have to put myself into that paragraph. I take that paragraph and make it become alive, make it become me, instead of just being some words on the book. So as I go through these 4 categories, that's what they call them, categories, that I had to put my own experience into it. All right? And I suggest when you study that you put your own experience into it. It says, the problem with which you struggle usually falls within 1 or 4 categories. What they're doing, they're telling the wives working with wives. And they're telling them that, okay, you're struggling, but we're going to give you 4 categories, and usually your problem is going to be in 1 of the 4. I kind of find that funny because as I read it and studied it and ingested it and dissected it, I was in every category. So if they were talking to my ex wife, they probably be like, she'd be like, no, he's in all of them, and we're going to write a 5th category. It says, your husband may be only a heavy drinker. His drinking may be constant or it may be heavy only on certain occasions, like weekends. You know what I'm trying to say? Like I might can stay sober for a long, a week, but on the weekends or I know a party's coming up, I was telling my daughters, they're kind of young, early 30s and stuff like that, and I watched them, through the years, and like, if something's coming up or they having a party or something like that, they just go. They just go. And unless it was a special event. I remember sometime Puffy used to come in town, my daughter want to go to the party that he won't have, and he used to have like white linen parties. So they would go out and buy all the white, to go to the party. But when I was growing up, every house party, every time someone had a party was a major event for me. I don't know about nobody else. I had to go buy new pants. I'm a teenager. New shirt, a new cologne. And we put a big deal into it back in the day, So when something was coming up, I would prepare for it. I don't care what it was every weekend. I prepared for that. I don't know what I did before the weekend, but I know it was in preparation for the party. I can't even remember that much about the education and trying to study and none of that. I was in preparation for that party. And it never failed. That's how I lived. Somebody had a party, Ron had a party, I knew about it, we knew about it, we knew the time, the date, the location. You start preparing for that. In my preparation though, I never left out my best friend. Mad Dog, Boom Farm, and some cigarettes. That was in the preparation. You can get all the night clothes you want, but you better have some Boom Farm. I need some Boom Farm and some Mad Dog to make it through that party. So, most of my life was, I think I started out as a heavy drinker. I wasn't, once I tasted alcohol and I got the effects of alcohol, I went right into heavy. Now, that's just me. Everybody not like that. Perhaps he spent too much money for liquor. I told y'all before, and I'm not going to do a lot of talking about me, but before, I used to like, if I knew, when I got grown, and I knew, when I was in the military, that certain people like rum, or this person, my friend, like whiskey, this friend like beer, this friend like wine. I had a bar, and I would stock my bar, completely stocked, with everything other people like. So when y'all came over, I needed you to like what you like so I could do what I do. I didn't want you to leave. I had to have plenty alcohol for you to indulge in so I can continue to indulge. That makes sense? So I kept it well stocked. Every credit card I had was maxed from the Class 6 store. You know, that's what they call it in the military. So when you look at my monthly report, you know, when I get my statement back, it'd be Class 6, 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 Class 6. I spent all my money at the liquor store. Charged it. It may be slowing him up mentally and physically, but he does not see it. Sometimes he is a source of embarrassment to you and his friends. He is positive he can handle his liquor, that it does him no harm, that drinking is necessary for or in his business. I can honestly tell you, when I went into the military, and I said this last week, that, now I gotta say it another way. I thought military promoted drinking. And they really didn't. But I thought it, and everybody else around me thought that too. At that time. They don't do that now. You know. That is not a part of it now. You get out. You go. If you a DUI, you got to go. But when I was in the early 80s and the late 70s, we thought to be drunk was to be the hero. All right. So that was a part of my business. By me being a military officer, there's a lot of paperwork I had to do. A lot of paperwork. You had to write up reports. You got to do inspections. You got to do, there's a lot of paperwork involved. You got to write evaluations. You got to send up for awards. It's a ton of paperwork for an officer. I never said it affected me mentally. But for some reason, I only did my paperwork on Wednesday. I had psyched my mind up, and I was so intoxicated all the time that I couldn't do the paperwork every day. So I would let it pile up like this up till Wednesdays. And I would go in, I would stop kind of drinking Tuesday early enough that I could go in and finish all that paperwork in that one day. Soon as I got through, and I closed up the door, locked the door to go, I went straight to the old club to start that drinking again. I did that for years. So I had developed in my mind the mentality that I was okay. Now, if they had a report that needed to be done on another day other than Wednesday, I had some kind of way find to get my other lieutenants or something to do it for me. Tell me I wasn't feeling well that day. You think you can fill this out for me? And they would do it. But they didn't know that I was suffering from alcoholism. That makes sense? And I only could do it on one day. I had trained myself to do all my paperwork on one day. So I was mentally challenged. Alright? It says that he will probably be insulted if called an alcoholic. The world is full of people like him. Anywhere you go, from the executive level all the way down to the skid row bump, there are people like this all over the place. I could take you to some cities or suburbs around the city or in the city, doesn't matter. Go into a liquor store between 11 a.m. and 2 p.m. and see if you don't see a lot of women buying wine and alcohol. Soccer moms buying alcohol. Housewives buying alcohol. The husband that stay at home to take care of the kid, what's the new top terminology for that? Mama, papa, mom, whatever. Huh? The house mom, you know, the dad.
Yeah.
They in the liquor store. It's a whole world of potential alcoholics that's indulging in them things in the daytime while the significant other and sponsors is at work. Some will moderate or stop altogether. Some will not. I was in one of the will nots. For those who keep on, a good number will become true alcoholics after a while. This is so true. This is so true. Those soccer moms, housewives, males that stay at home to take care while their women go out to work, if you continue what you're doing, you will be a real alcoholic. Even though you don't think so right now. Paul.
Second category. Your husband is showing lack of control, where he is unable to stay on the water wagon even when he wants to. He often gets entirely out of hand when drinking. He admits this is true, but is positive that he will do better. He has begun to try, with or without your cooperation, various means of moderating or staying dry. Maybe he is beginning to lose his friends. His business may suffer somewhat. He is worried at times and is becoming aware that he cannot drink like other people. He sometimes drinks in the morning and through the day also, to hold his nervousness in check. He is remorseful after serious drinking bouts and tells you he wants to stop. But when he gets over the spree, he begins to think once more how he can drink moderately next time. We think this person is in danger. These are the earmarks of a real alcoholic. Perhaps he can still tend to business fairly well. He has by no means ruined everything. As we say among ourselves, he wants to want to stop.
All right, this is category number 2. All right. Your husband is showing lack of control, for he is unable to stay on the water wagon even when he wants to. Sometimes I go back and I have to go back in my mind. I think about family events that I'm supposed to attend, and I want to go there sober. I really want not to act like a fool. And even though I want to, I take a drink right before I get there, and it kicks in. There I am, the park ape, swinging around like a monkey. You know what I'm trying to say? In the midst of the family reunion. Even though I didn't want to do it, I had every intention not to do that. All right. He often gets entirely out of hand when drinking. You know, when my brother was alive, I looked up and I saw my uncle. I was thinking about him and I were both alcoholics and addicts. And I'll never forget, we were at a party, and it was a upper scale party, right? Not too far in this subdivision in Fayetteville where Holyfield lived. And we was at this event. And maybe 100 people there. Everybody in suit and ties and doing what they're supposed to. It was 2 people who got to fighting at the party. It was me and my brother fighting each other. And both of them were drunk. At the other party, and I heard people in the background say, "They're my brothers fighting." And I can't even remember what it was for. Alright? So, he also gets entirely out of hand when drinking. That's an example. Alright? He admits this is true, but is positive that he will do better. That's the problem. The obsession is starting to kick in when you know you got a problem, but you're going to do better next time. So you're not trying to quit. You're not trying to stop. You're going to take the same drink and do better drinking next time. That makes sense? He has begun to try with or without your cooperation. Maybe he is beginning to lose his friends. His business may... No, let me go back. He admits this is true, but is positive that he will do better. He has begun to try with or without your cooperation various means of moderating or staying dry. I tried everything you can think of to stop using. I would send money to myself. I would give money to other people. I would put money in and buy money orders, send money orders in through the mail, and then couldn't go to work on Monday because the postman come on Monday and I need to get my money out, so I could continue. While I left off when I got broke during the weekend. I tried everything to stop. I even had family come over, sit down and promise them that I'd never use again. I tried everything I could to stop. It says, maybe he is beginning to lose his friend. His business may suffer somewhat. He is worried at times and is becoming aware that he cannot drink like other people. He sometimes drinks in the morning and through the day also, to hold his nervousness in check. There's one person that probably I had this thing, and I think most alcoholics do. I have a cousin named Haywood. Haywood had a recording studio for 30 years. And it was a popular recording studio here in the city of Atlanta. And a lot of entertainers used to come on weekends, and they'd have jam sessions over there. It was like crazy, And he was a musician, and Haywood could play any instrument they made on planet Earth. And they would record all this stuff, and I used to go by there. But me and Haywood was like this. I couldn't play a whole tune. But that was my cousin, and we were like this. And he would call me up, and I'd go there. He always treated me nice, right? And Haywood would drink wine and and stuff like that. But he wasn't an alcoholic. He didn't have this illness or disease that I did. But what happened to me is, for years, for 20 years, I always put in my mind that I wanted to drink and use like Haywood. Every time I go out, I would go to that recording studio, and it'd be some famous people in there. And they'd be jamming, and people be trying to get in to hear these guys. This is not when they make the recording out, this is when they're using their creativity. They just sitting around jamming. And people would be lined up trying to get in the place. Had to have guards outside, and I could just go right in. And I would tell myself before I get there, I'm not going to be stupid. I'm not going to be a fool. I'm going to drink like Haywood do, and I'm going to enjoy it. Y'all know the girl over there too now. So I'm going to enjoy this. That's what I always say. I will go in there to drink like Haywood. Have one or two drinks. Haywood, Luther, Rick, Whitney, all y'all can go to hell. I'm out of here. I don't care who was in there. Jackson 10. I got to go. I could never drink like Haywood. And later on I found out I had the disease and Haywood did it. But I stayed always in my mind, I had to do it like he did it. It never dawned on me to quit or try sobriety. I'm going to drink like Haywood. Alright? He is remorseful after serious drinking bouts and tells you he wants to stop. But when he gets over the spree, he begins to think once more how he can drink moderate the next time. That's the obsession. I think NA says it real well. And I can't remember the word straight out, but it has something to do with using and always thinking about means and ways to use. You're always thinking about means and ways to continue to use. That's the obsession. It never dawned on me that I had a drinking problem. I need to quit or try total abstinence. Quitting was what I did. I would quit. I quit drinking 1,000,000 times. Every time I got drunk and did something stupid, I quit. But I never thought about being totally absent in this. Abstinence. I thought about trying to drink like Haywood. Haywood kept me drunk a lot of years. I never thought about abstinence. I just wanted to drink like Haywood because I saw Haywood do it successfully. And all I want to do, and if you really look through your life, you all had one person or a couple people that you wanted to drink like they did also. Because you saw them doing it successfully. They kept their houses, they kept their cars, they sent their kids to college, they kept their marriages, they kept their job, they did everything and still drank. I drink and I lose. Everything I just named that they kept, I lost. But I wanted to drink like them. These are the earmarks of a real alcoholic. If you want to continue to drink like someone else that can do it successfully, but you can't, and you still thinking about trying to do it successfully, these are the earmarks of a real alcoholic. Perhaps he can still tend to business fairly well. He has by no means ruined everything. We see that in recovery. Newcomers come in here all the time. A lot of people, they destroy everything. Now, I'm not talking about step up. You go to some of these other organizations where the insurance is paying and all that kind of stuff, and they still got jobs. They haven't lost everything. If we say among ourselves, he wants to stop. Remember I told you about you got to jump the hurdle over both them wants? It's kind of like getting a payday. Friday you got paid, $400-500 in your pocket. You go out, destroy it all. But you have promises that you're going to take your kids out, you're going to pay some bills, you done told the landlord you're going to knock them off this week, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. You had this list of normal things you're going to do. Then when you get the money, you head out to start to do the normal thing, you take a drink prior to that, and then the illness comes in. The disease comes in. The whole 9 yards kick in. Then you have remorse. And you're sitting in a park bench or some house where you're not supposed to be in remorse. Depressed. Feeling low. Embarrassed. Stupid. Beating yourself up. Wallowing in self-pity. And you feel all them low emotions, right? And you sit there and you say, Lord Jesus Christ. Okay, you gotta pray. That's what we do very well. Lord Jesus Christ, my Heavenly Father. Even tone it down to, please, Lord, I really want to quit, and I'm asking you to help me. I done did this so many times, I know how I feel. And I sit there and, God, please help me. Then instead of listening to God or wanting God to really help me, and I really do though, I mean it though, the thought comes in my head, you ought to go and get you some help. And that thought comes in, the obsession, but you got a check in the hole from the job. I jump up out of that because I only hit the first want. The second want is to be able to go past the check in the hole. They can keep the check in the hole. I don't even want it, I want treatment. But I never get that far. So when I hit check in the hole, that's money. I'm running to get the money. You got to jump the hurdle or straddle over both of them, the wants. You can't want to stop. You got to want to stop. You got to get past all that and just go stop. There ain't no more wanting to do it, you go do it. You put it in action. That make sense? Number 3.
Category number 3. This husband has gone much further than husband number 2. But once like number 2, he became worse. His friends have slipped away, his home is a near wreck, and he cannot hold a position. Maybe the doctor has been called in, and the weary round of sanitariums and hospitals has begun. He admits he cannot drink like other people, but does not see why. He clings to the notion that he will yet find a way to do so. He may have come to the point where he desperately wants to stop, but cannot. This case presents additional questions, which we shall try to answer for you. You can be quite hopeful of a situation like this.
All right. This is number 3. You see, it's kind of, you know, when Dr. Sutworth did this, he had the classifications of alcoholics. And now they say categories, so I don't want to mix them up. So this is the 3rd category of the struggles that women went through with their husbands. All right. This, number 3 is this husband has gone much farther than husband number 2. The once like number 2, he became worse. His friends have slipped away. His home is a near wreck, and he cannot hold a position. In other words, his life is becoming unmanageable. Not paying bills. Home is when they say home is a near wreck, they're talking about family, marriage, the whole home situation. You know, is dilapidated, is wrecked, it's crashed, and he cannot hold a position. His life is becoming unmanageable. There it is up there. Step 1. Maybe the doctor has been called in, and the weary round of sanitariums and hospital has begun. You start going to treatment centers and seeing doctors and getting some kind of medical advice. And when I started the medical advice, way back before the 12-step program, I got addicted to the doctors because they were passing out pain pills for me. You know what I'm trying to say? They were saying, here, take some pain pills, some hydrocodone, you know what I'm saying, some morphine. Because I know you sick. They thought I was physically, you know, sick. I was, though. Yeah. But a couple codeine and some beer was fine with me. You know? So I started volunteering to go see some doctors. You know? So at the time, even Bill and them said that. The doctor came with heavy sedatives. They said, they admitted that. So, you know, then I got hooked on pills and drinking. I didn't need as much alcohol. 2 Benadryl and alcohol was fine for me. So I started doing that. So I guess the Wild Wood think something going on, because I was going in and out of them things just as fast as I could. He admits, you know, alcoholics are some weird creatures. That just came to me. That's what I really was doing, y'all. I go see the doctor. You know, like a little kid in school. Me, I do it. You want me to see a doctor? I go see him. And they give me drugs. Drugs and alcohol was a good thing for me. Alright, so it says, maybe that's a good point, because people who watching this all over the world are doing this right now. And I know that they're doing it because of the fact that this hydrocodone and all this kind of narcotics is going crazy. People, the doctors are setting up clinics just to write that. So, and then they're trying to, even the feds is kicking in, trying to alleviate that. So they drinking and hydrocodone like crazy right now. Alright. He admits he cannot drink. Now here's the deal. After going through all this stuff, he admits he cannot drink like other people, but does not see why. I don't know why I can't drink like other people, but I'm not. I know something wrong. You know what I'm trying to say? Here's the deal. This is when the real obsession clings in. He clings, holds on to, grips to the notion that he will yet find a way to do so. That go back. He admits he cannot drink like other people. Haywood. I can't drink like Haywood, but I'm sure gonna find a way to do it like Haywood do it. I'm gonna find a way. He clings to the notion that he will yet find a way to do so. Maybe if I take 2 hot old codeine pills and drink me a beer, when I get up in that studio, I won't have to, I'll already be mellow. I don't have to overdo it. And I can sit there and just chill. Remember I told y'all that as alcoholics, and this is not only in alcohol, this extends from anything when you don't have a spiritual life. What we mean by that, if I have alcohol, if I'm suffering from the disease of alcoholism, I'm an alcoholic, my whole life is unmanageable, but I can get my life corrected if I learn how to drink, which is my problem, better. Yeah. Or the easier, softer way of drinking. So I'm taking the problem, drinking, and trying to fix the problem with drinking. Okay. Which is my problem, the drinking. That's what makes the spiritual life and the non-spiritual life 2 different things. When you are non-spiritual, you try to fix your problems in your life with the problem. If you got a financial problem, you go get 2 jobs. Now you get working harder for the same problem. Ain't fixed nothing. Yeah. I have not met a man or a woman yet solved any financial problem by adding on another job. I don't care what it is. Most people try to fix whatever you got going on the outside by things on the outside. You got a marriage problem? Let me fix it with another woman. Or another man. You got an educational problem, you flunked it out in California? Let me move to Georgia and go to school down there. You still gonna flunk out. We try to fix problems with the outside. In the spiritual world, we go inside to the root and change the cause of the problem in our minds. We remove it in our minds. Get a new belief system. And we're going to teach you all how to do that. You don't have to go outside where the problem is and try to fix it outside. You fix it in your psyche. You change the entire structure of the problem. If you got a problem with money, you have to go inside and believe and change that lack of I don't have enough money that you've been living with for 30 years to I have a good God. Abundance is where I come from. I live in abundance, and money flows to me easy and fast. Everywhere I walk, money shows up. It'll start showing up, pay your bill. You change from the inside your mind, not inside your body, in your mind. Even up step 1, we're admitted we're powerless over alcohol and our lives have become unmanageable. You have to admit that you're powerless. You cannot do this no more. That's a change in the psyche, in the mind. I can't drink like Haywood. Forget Haywood. I'm total abstinence. I'm in recovery. I hang around people that don't drink. I am a non-drinking human being. Change your psyche. Forget about drinking. Become sober in the mind. Then, for some reason, they say, can't you believe in a power greater than yourself? Sooner you have to do that. You have to believe in a power greater than yourself. that can restore you to sanity. Each and every last one of us has this universal intelligence in us. Inside of us is the answer to all problems. That's what the book says. It solves, God solves all problems. There's not a problem that cannot be solved if you go inside and erase the problem and put the solution in there and live and assume the solution and carry forth in the solution. Fake it till you make it. Better than living in the problem. You have to do this in your mind. Did that make any sense? You have to do it in your mind. Change your thinking, change your life. Alright, let's get back. Where we at, number 4? It says that he may have to come to the point where he desperately wants to stop but cannot. His case presents additional questions which we shall try to answer for you. You can be quite hopeful of a situation like this. Let's do number 4.
Category number 4. You may have a husband of whom you completely despair. He has been placed in one institution after another. He is violent or appears definitely insane when drunk. Sometimes he drinks on the way home from the hospital. Sometimes he has delirium tremors. Doctors may shake their heads and advise you to have him committed. Maybe you have already been obliged to put him away. This picture may not be as dark as it looks. Many of our husbands were just as far gone, yet they got well.
Here it goes. It says, number 4, you may have a husband of whom you completely despair. You lost all hope in that person. That's what despair means. You have no hope in that person at all. It's gone. He has been placed in one institution after another, from treatment center to treatment center, from jail to treatment center, from hospital to mental ward, back to treatment center, one after another. He is violent or appears definitely insane when drunk. Sometimes he drinks on the way from the hospital. I remember years ago my father did that. My mother had him admitted to, my father was a real alcoholic, had him admitted to Milledgeville. And I remember the stories that, that they couldn't understand. They went down to get him when he was released. He stayed down there like three months or something. And on the way back, he told him to stop at the liquor store. And he got out of the drink. And they had to put him out, before he got to Atlanta, in the country somewhere. He was sloppy drunk. Right? Perhaps he has had the DTs. Doctors may shake their heads and advise you to have him committed. Maybe you have already been obliged to put him away. This picture may not be as dark as it looks. When I was in that kind of situation and I was like hit rock bottom, I think the alcoholic right then and there kind of know intuitively that you're going to die if you don't quit this. Ain't that many treatment centers in the world that you can keep going in. And if you drink on the way out of one, it's either you're going to live or you're going to die. You get to a point where you're going to live or you die. And that's where I was. Many of our husbands were just as far gone, yet they got well. All right, let's go to the next one. Paragraph. Let's
now go back to husband number 1. Oddly enough, he is often difficult to deal with. He enjoys drinking. It stirs his imagination. His friends feel closer over a highball. Perhaps you enjoy drinking with him yourself when he doesn't go too far. You have passed happy evenings together, chatting and drinking before your fire. Perhaps you both like parties which would be dull without liquor. We have enjoyed such evenings ourselves. We had a good time. We know all about liquor as a social lubricant. Some, but not all of us, think it has its advantages when when reasonably used?
All right, check this out. First thing I want to say is that myself personally, every one of these categories I lived through. Me. I was in every category, okay? Fortunately enough, I guess when it came to the wives, after category 1, my first wife was gone. So the other 3 I was by myself. That makes sense? But some people had wives and family that went through every category with them. They went through all the struggle. You know. And it says, now let's go back to husband number 1. Remember, that's the heavy drinker. He liked to drink with his buddies at work, you know, kick it at the clubs. The wife goes out, drink with him. You know, even though he overdoes it, he still keeps his job, still keeps a little family going on. It might be hard, he might be physically and mentally impaired, but he got it going on. He go to family reunion, he good and tipsy and tell them jokes, and you know, I got family members like that to the day. That still do that. You know he gonna be tipsy, you know he gonna be, you know, and they good, really good for remembering everything that happened 30 years ago. They can't wait to retell that one, you know. So, and then they're there. So, you know, I understand. But the problem with that, here's a problem with that. And it says right here, now let's go back to husband number 1. Oddly enough, he is often difficult to deal with. He ain't drunk enough that he got to leave. You know what I'm saying? He ain't drunk enough that he can't go in his pocket and order some more alcohol. Yeah. He ain't that broke. You know what I'm saying? All the kids running around, and Uncle this, Uncle that, he passing out dollar bills. So, you know, he think he still got it going on. It's hard to deal with that one now. You know. He enjoys drinking. It stirs his imagination. What I say, he can go back 30 years ago and bring up stuff that happened when we were teenagers and kids. It just stirs his imagination. He enjoys it. His friends feel close over a highball. I don't know, but I still go to social events and stuff like that. Even though I don't drink, somebody get it drunk, they want to put their arm around me, like they know me, talk in my face, and you know what I'm saying? Hug on me. Like I only hug in AA. Don't care that much about doing that in there, but I do it, everybody else do it. But I know I even let your hot breath hug on me. Set it out, you know? And then it says that, perhaps you enjoy drinking with him yourself when he doesn't go too far. You have passed happy evenings together, chatting and drinking before your fire, sitting at the fireplace, just drinking, listening, and talking about stuff. You know, the husband and the wife are doing that. All right. It said, perhaps you both like parties, but which would be dull without liquor. We have enjoyed such evenings ourselves. We had a good time. We know all about liquor as a social lubricant. Some but not all of us think it has its advantages when reasonably used. The problem with that kind of a drinking situation is that if you can drink like that, even though you get tipsy and do some stupid stuff and everything, you don't see it as a problem. You don't see it as a problem. And the people, let's say the wives or family members do see it as a problem. If you got somebody that's totally sober, they can see this as a problem. You know, they say, well, this guy, he comes in here, you know he's going to get tipsy, you know he's going to get drunk, he's going to do the same routine always show up. That makes sense. It's like that person who does this kind of drinking, number 1, he does the same thing at every event. He's going to tell the same jokes, you know, do the same thing. It's very, very predictable. But so outside, it might not be cool. You know what I'm trying to say? But the problem with getting this guy some help is that since I do it too, since I can drink successfully, I don't see why he can't drink successfully. I don't understand why he drinks a little bit more than he do, but I drink also. And at certain times, I done got over there with him, got tipsy enough, and I done joined him with him. So there's nowhere you can find some help or some disagreement in the thing, because we all doing it together. The wife can't look at him and say, you an alcoholic. What about you? We just left the fireplace last night. We drunk that fifth together.
Right.
So that kind of person, it's hard to deal with. That's what they're saying, because you can't really put him nowhere probably other than a potential alcoholic. And I can't judge him because I'm with him. He had to go a little bit to another category in order to get any kind of help. This person ain't going to get no help. Because the people that tell him to go get some help is using with him. That's like you take it to the extreme, you got two skid row bombs, both of them drunk, and the other one looking at you and say, you need to go to AA. You know? You're a little bit more drunker than me, you slept an hour longer than I did. You know? Alright, let's do the, now they're going to get into solutions. They did the drunkard law, now they're going to tell the women what to do. Alright.
The first principle of success is that you should never be angry. Even though your husband becomes unbearable and you have to leave him temporarily, you should, if you can, go without rancor. Patience and good temper are most necessary.
Alright, now here they go, they're going to start teaching. The first principle of success. Remember, you got women who live with alcoholic men or vice versa. The first principle in success, and I think they threw out some big ones first. Never be angry. Never be angry. That's deep. But that's what they say. I'm going by the book. Never be angry. I don't know that maybe they're talking to Jesus, but you know, I'm reading the book. Never be angry. Hard to do it. Even though your husband becomes unbearable, maybe they just throw the hand or the finger. I don't know, but don't get angry. And you have to leave him temporarily. These are goals to reach. You should, if you can, go without rancor. There's bitter resentment, hostility. Patience and good temper are most necessary. You have to learn, no matter what's going on in the family about the drinking situation, don't be angry about it. Have some patience and good temper. That's the principle number one. And that goes with anything. Alright? To the next one.
Our next thought is that you should never tell him what he must do about his drinking. If he gets the idea that you are a nag or a killjoy, your chance of accomplishing anything useful may be zero. He will use that as an excuse to drink more. He will tell you he is misunderstood. This may lead to lonely evenings for you. You may seek someone else to console him, not always another man.
Our next thought is that you should never, you can circle the word never, tell him what he must do about his drinking. Never talk about telling him what he should do about his drinking. If he gets the idea that you are a nag or a killjoy, your chance of accomplishing anything useful may be zero. I knew when I was drinking, heavy in the beginning and all this, and my family was starting to see it. Anytime they told me I was a drunk or something like that, I would get a resentment or get angry, and I would leave. And like they always say, if you think I'm drunk now, this was my mind. I was really bad. If you think I'm drunk now in the house, wait till let me show you what I'm going to do outside the house. And I would leave. Or you think I'm hurting you, I show you I'm going to hurt me some more. That's how I live. I wasn't taking, my mind wasn't built to take that kind of criticism when I thought I was doing something only hurting myself. It said he would use that as an excuse to drink more. That's what I'm talking about right there. You tell me I'm a drunk, I'm going to use that excuse to drink more. But I know I'm not a drunk. You just the killjoy or a nag. You just like the nag. He will tell you he is misunderstood. This leads to lonely evenings for you. he may seek someone else to console him, not always another man. So what they're saying, if you keep on nagging and all that, he gonna go find somebody cheap with. Because the lady in the bar that he buying a drink for is more understanding than you are. You can have any drunk, that one. That's why if you look at it, strip clubs and all that, you know, I hear people in my families say, I don't understand why them men always run to the strip club. Yeah, look at their wife. She don't understand. You know, ain't no pole at home. You know? Ain't none of that kicking. Hell, if you went in there 10 times, you understand why he went over there. You know, you kind of like sitting there home saying, why they go there? Go there 10 times. Go 10 times straight. You'll be able to figure out why they go there. Because them women over there understand. You know, that's like heaven, but all that. Nice fine woman. Slapping butt in your face, and plenty to drink. She might not know what I'm talking about, ain't got a clue about me, but she do understand. Keep putting them dollar bills out there. They understand. That's the way it is. And you get addicted to that, at home don't make no sense. Alright? The next one is, do the next one, then we'll stop.
Be determined that your husband's drinking is not going to spoil your relations with your children or your friends. They need your companionship and your help. It is possible to have a full and useful life though your husband continues to drink. We know women who are unafraid, even happy under these conditions. Do not set your heart on reforming your husband. You may be unable to do so, no matter how hard you try.
All right, we're going to stop with this paragraph because this is going to take a long time, and I was already told that we don't have that much time for tonight. But I'm going to just go to the next one. We know these suggestions are sometimes difficult to follow. All right, not the principle about never being angry, they know this is difficult. You know what I'm saying? To have patience and don't talk about his alcoholism, they know that that's difficult. But it said, be determined that your husband drinking is not going to spoil your relations with your children or your friends. They need your companionship and your help. It is possible to have a full and useful life. So, though your husband continues to drink, what they're really saying in this paragraph, we're going to break it down next week, is that you have to start working on yourself. They're telling these women, you're going to have to start working on yourself. Alright? We know women who are unafraid, even happy under these conditions. The only way you can live in this kind of alcoholic insanity, and I know what I'm talking about because I'm a child or an alcoholic child. My father was an alcoholic. I was raised up in an alcoholic family where we didn't eat at the tables, where the mama and the father's always arguing and fighting. I come as a product of that. I lived as a child in an alcoholic family. Right? And they're saying that if the woman works on herself, she can become unafraid, even happy under these conditions. We're going to talk about this next week. Here's something that I see very important. This is for anybody that's trying to do anything. Do not set your heart on reforming your husband. Some people want to change other people so bad, so intense, that they lose themselves in trying to work on this other person. Like that other person become their entire life. It's like going out getting a skid row bomb and giving up everything you possess to try to make him into an angel. Might not happen. He might not want to be an angel. You may be unable to do so no matter how hard you try. We're going to get into this next week. And I just want to say something. I know because I live this stuff. I'm a recovering alcoholic addict that has a treatment center, and my wife works in the treatment center with me. If it wasn't for this thrift store, she would probably be messed up. I'm speaking in her behalf. Because she would probably put all her energy into having addicts too. Until she could lose herself. And over the period of 20 years, I done seen her go in and out emotionally with working with alcoholics and that. That's even when we do that. I have to back up on some addicts sometime. I went to a meeting about 5 years ago, and this the honest goodness truth. There was a newcomer, about 100 newcomers in the treatment center. They were all sharing and sharing. And my family was messed up. My wife was, my family situation was messed up. And they asked me, what you got to say? I said, y'all motherfuckers. That's how I felt. Because they had pulled everything up out of me. I done seen counselors commit suicide. From allowing too much, you know what I'm talking about? Putting too much into it and trying to help people, and it just took them all they had, man. I'm not saying it's good or bad, but I'm saying it's possible. Thank y'all for a good meeting.